evening, Style Esports fans, and welcome to the grand finals here in the Freljord group. We have a best of 5 coming at you tonight between Gomie Clash Gang and the Anime Avengers. It's the first best of 5 that we have this season, the first finals game that we are bringing your way and bringing you that action. I am Jarl Carl, alongside my illustrious colorcaster for the evening. It's Baymax.
Ooh, illustrious is a nice creative word. I like it. I am definitely a fan. Thank you, Carl. Thank you.
Anytime. Always here for you, Baymax. We're into the Champ Select on Pro Draft, bringing you that Pro Draft. New tech on the stream, everybody. We have figured out how to capture a Google Chrome window. So definitely shout outs to our technician in the back, X187, running the hosting tonight. We're into those picks. Volibear has been picked up. Reworked champion. He's pretty strong. Got a lot of AP scaling on that E, I've been told, I think is the ability. So been seeing him a lot in pro play, especially in the North American top laners picking that up. And we got some time being played with on the side of Gomie Clash Gang.
Ooh, Gunblade first item is all the rage for new Volibear. It might sound a little bit troll, but like you were saying, it actually just hits so hard. It's kind of unreal. I played against the Gunblade first item Volibear in just a normals game earlier today, and I got hammered. There may have been a little bit of operator error on the part of my champion that I was playing, but overall, I think Volibear is an exciting pick, a pretty strong champion, so I do like to see him prioritized. A bit surprising, though, being that Mordekaiser had a lot of emphasis the last time these teams met. So the last time that these teams played each other, it was Gomie Clash Gang that came away with the victory in a 2-1 best of 3. So Anime Avengers managed to take a game off of them, and throughout all 3 of those games, it was Gomie Clash Gang that put a ton of priority on getting that Mordekaiser in the top lane. So, a little bit of a switch up here from them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, back when they played, the new Volibear, I don't think was out. It was the 4th of June. So I think 2 patches ago. I don't know what the state of Volibear was, but I do not think it was quite the same as it is now. So been picked up, very strong in the meta, which I think makes a lot of sense. Mordekaiser, of course, is still there. And I think we'll see, possibly later on in the series, of course. This is a 5-game series, so a lot of draft adaptation could come through. But I think the Volibear is a very solid pick at the top lane. A lot of people have been kind of comparing him to Set, kind of like a better Set right now with the ultimate, very, very similar. In that regard, can turn off those turrets, of course, which is a fun little mechanic now that Ohmwrecker doesn't exist anymore. So it's just Volibear. On that front, I think it makes a lot of sense to go with the Volibear. Blind, pretty safe blind pick. We'll see what Gomie has in store to counter it with. Not going to be the Tryndamere. That's been banned out. There is taken away as well. So a little bit of a top lane pinch. Ornn not there as well. So maybe just a Maokai and just kind of tank it up. We'll see what they go with. Looks like they're saving the top pick for last, as it's probably a Zilean support as well, Baymax.
Yeah, most likely. Like, Orianna's a very strong mid laner right now, although I'm not seeing much of our front line so far for Gomie, so maybe they want to think about picking up some sort of a tanky champion for a top laner, some sort of an initiation. The Ornn is banned away and did get nerfed in patch 10.13, but Maokai is still strong, still in the meta. Might see the tree come out in the top lane for Gomie. Might see Set as well. I think still a relatively strong champion, but honestly, maybe even something like an Aatrox could be good here, a good flanky disruptor to sort of get on Anime Avengers backline and mess things up. Definitely interested. There's that Set picked away, though, so Anime Avengers not letting Gomie get their hands on that guy.
Yeah, didn't ban him out, and they just said, okay, we'll just pick it up. You're not going to have that in the top lane. I would assume the Set will be in the jungle and Volibear top lane, although I think you could probably switch that around. Haven't seen a lot of Volibear in the jungle, so I would expect it for Set to be in that position. Could depend on this pick. And there's the Mordekaiser we were talking about, picked into that Volibear. Can take him to the Death Realm if he goes in for the engage, maybe stop him from wreaking a lot of havoc on his team. But you mentioned it earlier, Max, there's not a lot of frontline for this Gomie Clash Gang team. Sure, they have the Zilean to keep somebody alive, but who's going to be the tank? There is no actual tank on this team, at least that I'm seeing. Volibear and Set kind of fit in that role for the Anime Avengers. So this could be a frontline, issue for this team. I think they're going to have to look more for picks than just trying to fight straight up front to back team fights, because there's no front on their front to back team fight.
That's definitely true. Although Anime Avengers haven't drafted a lot of burst, right? They have mostly DPS champions, mostly bruisers and 80 carries. And bruisers and 80 carries excel at killing tanks, but can have a little bit of a harder time against other bruisers, right? So I'm potentially seeing the Kayn and the Mordekaiser serving Gomie very well in this game. Although I think that the later the game goes, the worse their odds of winning will become. I think you want the Kayn to pop off around the 25-30 minute mark. Anything later than that, and suddenly the Caitlyn will just start doing too much damage to deal with. The Corki will begin to scale to infinity. The Volibear just becomes too tanky. You can't really deal with that either, because again, there's not only is there not a lot of tank line on Gomie, but there's not a lot of DPS either. It's really going to be almost only Seishiki on the Ashe, and Ashe is not that great of a DPS champion. Volibear is going to get pretty tanky. Set is going to get pretty tanky. So Gomie Clash Gang, I think they want to probably snowball a lead relatively early around those big ultimates, around the Shockwave, around the Death Realm, around the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, and try to probably, spike around that 20-minute mark.
I think the early game will be important for them, just to make sure they're not behind and help that snowballing come through. For me, the bot lane is probably the easiest place to get this rolling, especially at level 6. You have the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. From Ashe, you can bring people back alive with the Zillion ultimate if a dive goes wrong, or even just if a gank goes wrong. From Kayn, it is 2 ranged champions, so if they are looking to go more for that Shadow Assassin, is what that's called, that will help them out, but I would expect Ross to be the choice here. And so that would more indicate a topside focus for this jungler. So I think that could be a little bit of an issue. To me, this bot lane is where you would want to be focusing. Ashe has that long range. It's a pretty hard matchup for Caitlyn. Senna's, if the bombs land from Zillion, it's not that hard to land the slow into the bombs. So I think there could be a little bit of a disconnect here on where this Kayn wants to be ganking.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it's not bad for him, right? He's got maybe a little bit of disconnect, but the disconnect in my mind is good, right? Because there's a lot of tools. There's a lot of tools across the map that can be used from Gomie to assist Kind Words only in any of the ganking coming through, right? We talked about the Shockwave mid lane, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow bot lane, even top lane. It's a Mordekaiser versus a Volibear. If Sora ends up getting pulled into the death realm, or even just gets grabbed by a Mordekaiser E, that'll buy plenty of time for Kind Words only to show up, especially if he's got Ross. They'll be there to help out with the kill. Mordekaiser got a lot of damage, might even win the 1v1 versus Volibear. I'm honestly not even sure how that one exactly goes, so I'm excited to see just how the 1v1 goes, except for the fact that it looks like it's probably not going to be a Volibear top. It's probably going to be a Volibear jungle with Sora top lane on the set, which is even crazier in my mind. Like you said, I have not seen Volibear jungle hardly at all.
I don't think I've actually seen it ever in one of my games. Just thinking back off the top of my head, definitely is played a little bit less. I think it has strong ganking potential. You can put the lightning behind people, kind of similar to a Swain W. I believe that's the ability, with the AoE behind. Go for the stun. The ultimate can be great for diving tower. So I don't think his kit, doesn't work in the jungle. I think it's just a little bit less popular. So we'll see what Broken Stoner can come up with in terms of a jungle on this situation, and possibly also just flexed, due to the Mordekaiser in the top lane. I don't know exactly how the matchups work out, but that is something teams will do also, just trying to get a preferential matchup in one of their lanes, kind of throw the reject champion in the jungle and then go from there. So, I think it's interesting to have Set in the top lane. I think he is stronger in the top lane than in the jungle, personally. So I think they just you got to pick one of them to put in the jungle. They went with the Volibear.
Well, according to a quick OPGG survey I'm doing here, Volibear jungle has got about 20% of a play rate versus almost an 80% for Volibear top, but Volibear jungle's got actually a slightly higher win rate at 52.28%. So at least according to, a very wide survey of many players in the solo queue, Volibear jungle seems to be working out just fine for itself. So pretty excited to see what Broken Stoner can get done on this pick. I also want to point out the Senna bot lane, or the Senna support for I Suck 213 down there on the side of Anime Avengers. That's not a pick that has seen a ton of popularity in the meta as of recently, but it is a pick that I think can still be pretty strong, especially with the relatively new Senna build of taking Grasp of the Undying, going a little bit tankier, rushing a Frozen Mallet into a Black Cleaver. It's got a lot of tank shred, got a lot of utility, but that's not necessarily what Anime Avengers are going to need going against Gomie Clash Gang. We talked about it. They have a relatively squishy team with bruisers. I think Anime Avengers, they need more sort of utility and cutting potential, but Senna's really good at that too, especially if she is going for that Frozen Mallet. Every single auto attack is going to slow, and it could potentially mean that Kind Words only or Kovac have a really, or Kovac have a really hard time actually making anything happen.
I do agree. I think Senna is quite strong in the support role right now. in the right situation. I'm not sure if this game is it. I think you sacrifice a decent amount of lane pressure by not having something like a Nautilus in the bot lane right now. I think the Ashe and Zillion could end up being too much for Caitlyn Senna to deal with. I know there's a lot of range, on all parties. Is the three highest range AD carries at the start of the game, so, or marksman, I should say, the Ashe, the Caitlyn, and the Senna. So a lot of range going on. Zillion as well. I think it will be pretty easy for Zillion to land the bombs in this lane. There's not a lot of mobility. If he puts the slowdown, double bomb into an Ashe arrow, into a Kayn gank, I think that's a pretty much guaranteed kill if they can execute it properly. That being said, they are both very squishy, right? So if Seishiki or Zillion end up stepping on one of those traps, get hit by a Senna W, that combo can also do a lot of damage, just because there is no tankiness, and Caitlyn excels at one-shotting trapped targets. That's her, main ability, right? So I think there's a lot of potential for people to just kind of randomly die in the bot lane. The Zillion ult, of course, will help keep people alive as well. So I think the bot lane, to me, at least favors Gomie for now.
Well, and another thing I would add to that is Senna, especially against the team comp that Gomie has, I think is so reliant on having that frozen mallet finished before she can really do anything outside of laning phase and really be of help in team fights. That's a pretty significant chunk of gold, and it's a support Senna who's not going to have as high of gold income. Might be some time before Isaac actually does manage to pick up that first item. And until that time, like you mentioned, you're forfeiting a lot of lane pressure. So I'm definitely excited to see how this matchup goes, being that it is a double ranged bot laners on both sides. I think you're right. I give it to Gomie. I think I give it to Gomie across the map early on, but we'll see what they can get with it, what they can accomplish with it, right? It's all about turning that snowball, that early game pressure into a win, because Anime Avengers, boy, have they got scaling.
I think the Volibear is really the one place that Anime Avengers are going to excel in the early game, whereas Kindred's only really needs to scale up, get that dust, and get the transformation. So I think Anime Avengers need to look for this Volibear in the jungle to really try to propel themselves through the early game and kind of be a bridge toward the mid-late game where their scaling really is going to take effect, because honestly, Kayn, before he gets his form, is not that formidable of a ganker. He did receive some buffs to the slow in his W, but I don't think it's really enough to combat the power of Volibear coming into a lane, lightning behind, big stun, maybe straight at level 6, that ultimate in for a dive. So I think Broken Stoner is going to be the key to Anime Avengers getting through the early game.
I would definitely agree with that. And now that our little bit of a breakdown here is finished, we are going to go into a break as the spectator delay counts us down. But don't go anywhere. When we come back, we will have game number 1 of Gomie Clash Gang versus Anime Avengers, the best of 5 finals in the Freljord division. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Welcome back to game number 1 between Gomie Clash Gang and the Anime Avengers here in the finals of the Freljord group. This is a best of 5, so we are just in the early stages of this game. And the winner of this match will face Shadow Mustangs Unleashed in the promotion relegation game between the Freljord group and Piltover group. So very important stuff. Into game number 1, I'm your Carl, bringing you the play-by-play, and my color caster is none other than Baymax.
Heck yeah. None other than Baymax. The Baymax, the one and only. Not the one from Big Hero 6, a different one, I promise. So, thank you, Carl, for the introduction. Thank you for the start to this best of 5. Should be a good one. Last time these teams met, I think you said it already, but 2-1 in favor of Gomie. Anime Avengers looking to correct the record. And Anime Avengers largely sticking with comfort here, right? Kovac is no stranger to the Mordekaiser pick. We saw it twice in the last best of 3, and the only time it didn't come up a third time is because it was banned away. Seishiki as well in the bot lane played Ashe 2 of the last 3 games when these teams last met. So a lot of champions that are pretty comfortable, pretty familiar with Gomie Clash Gang. Let's see if they can execute. They did well in the first game of the last best of 3 with a similar composition. I'm definitely looking forward to them starting off this best of 5 strong in a way that they are comfortable with and prepared to fight with.
Oh, red buff going over to Totodile in the bot lane on this Caitlyn. That is a terrible start for Broken Stoner on the Volibear. Not what we want to see. The headshot out of the bush, taking that one for Totodile. Gonna have that in the bot lane. Gonna hit level 2 early. That could correct this bot lane. We mentioned it should be in favor of Gomie, but that's definitely a development here at the start of the game.
Yeah, definitely gonna slow down probably the strongest early game champion on Anime Avengers. Like you were saying, their best chance at making things happen early and taking control of the map early, other than maybe at level 1 Caitlyn with red buff, right? The best chance other than that for Anime Avengers has been delayed. We'll see if Broken Stoner can end up making anything happen with that. I'm assuming it was an accident. It could be some sort of 200 IQ strat from Anime Avengers trying to get a leg up on Gomie with a little bit of a surprise technique here, get that bot lane pressure, but I kind of doubt it.
Yeah, it seems unlikely. Totodile also stood still in the bush and kind of looked sad after he got it. So I'm going to go not what they were looking for. That being said, this is a huge advantage in the bot lane. Red buff and entity carry is so strong. We can see a lot of lane pressure being gained right now. So this has really flipped the script on this lane. But like you said, Broken Stoner is now set reasonably far behind. Going for a gank in the top lane, though, trying to maybe correct those wrongs. No red buff, though, for the chase. Kovac now trying to run for his life. A nice claw and a flash over the lightning. Broken Stoner just out of luck in the top lane.
It was a good flash from Kovac, but again, now a flashless Mordekaiser. Kindred's only, though, looking for the re-engage, but I don't think they're going to get anyone here.
Going in for more. Might be trying to turn around and fight. Only level 2 on Sora, though. There's the flash in onto Kovac. He is going to go down. Sora picking up first blood in this best of 5. Trying to get off to a good start. Kindred's only trying to get himself out. There's the flash. Broken Stoner running in. What are you doing? He just kills himself. He goes down. That's a kill picked up for Kindred's, only keeping those buffs, but the teleport now coming in behind Sora. He is going to be alone in the top lane. Kovac now running back in. Kindred's only as well on the chase. Sora trying to move on to Kindred's only, not going to be able to land that ability. Gets slowed up by that W. Increased slow, like we mentioned. There's the Q for it as well. Haymaker should have tried to buy a bit more time. Is the slam back available with the maze? Doesn't need it. Kovac picks up another kill in the top lane, and 2 for 1 in that top lane fight overall.
There wasn't exactly a flawless performance there from either team, but at the end of the day, definitely benefit over in favor of Gomie Clash Gang, right? A kill picked up for Kindwords only could be huge for getting this Kane snowballing into a Rost. Plus, he's gotten some Scuttle Crab pressure, going to be able to sneak that one away from Broken Stoner, who is looking for a repeat gank, but Kovac is wise to it, I think. Oh, no vision, actually. Broken Stoner going to hit the stun.
Going in, stun does land. A little bit of lightning is down. There's the Haymaker. A little bit more damage. Trying to run for his life. Can he get to his jungler in time? Is the ability there for Broken Stoner? Can he get the chase? Kindred's only now trying to get him away, and it looks like he's going to be successful. Buffs versus no buffs. Level 4 versus level 3. This is so much dust. Also for Kindred's only trying to get the kill. Going very low, though. He is actually going to get taken out. Sora's picked up that kill. Unstoppable MVP walking over as well. And a ton of fighting up at the top lane, Baymax. This time in favor of AA.
Yeah, Sora picking up another kill for himself, 2-2 now, as far as kills go. But oh wait, I didn't even see what happened there. Kovac looking for a little bit of a greedy recall, maybe. Is that what went down there?
Just got run down by Sora. That new speed, that's a lot of speed. Didn't respect it, and that's a 3-1 set randomly off of losing the first fight.
That can definitely swing a game, right? Bot lane pressure in favor of Anime Avengers thanks to that early game red buff, and far from Broken Stoner being punished for losing that early game red buff, it's actually been Anime Avengers that come out on top of the 2v2 skirmishing in the top side of the map. Now Sora with 3 kills for himself, a 10 CS lead, level 5 to level 4. Kobach maybe eventually gonna even up the experience here as he finally picks up this wave that is crashing, but you gotta wonder how this Mordekaiser is going to fare in this 1v1. I think, you know, Gomie Clash game, we got to find some way to get the bleeding under control in their side lanes, because right now Anime Avengers, with the team that outscales, they are poised to just break open the entire map early on. Pressure bot lane, you can see Broken Stoner starting up this dragon. First dragon in the game, probably going to go over to Anime Avengers in just a few minutes here. Top lane as well, Kobach desperately far behind.
Yeah, absolutely not what I was expecting to have happen after that first play went in favor of Gomie. And you mentioned that level 1 red buff situation kind of ended up benefiting Anime Avengers. I think it ended up benefiting Sora. I don't know how much it benefited Broken Stoner, who finds himself still about 500 gold, 400 gold behind Kindred's only off of that, but he was able to parlay that into an advantage for his top laner through just those repeated ganks. And I think that was a relatively large flip the coin for this team, because if those ganks completely fail, Broken Stoner is going to be helplessly far behind in this game. But fortunately, it worked out. Sora ended up picking 3 kills, and so he was able to kind of give away his disadvantage by pulling Kindred's only up into the top lane. Doesn't have the red buff, doesn't really matter. He goes down, but he gets his top laner 3 kills.
Oh, we did talk already, though, about the jungle diff in champions. Early on, Volibear definitely just gonna be a stronger skirmisher than Kayn is. Kayn needs levels. Kayn needs items. A top lane as well. Mordekaiser early is probably his weakest point. Set does a ton of damage, especially if he's got a flash into a face breaker. He can blow somebody up. I think that's probably the point of the lane where it goes worst for Mordekaiser, so it doesn't take a crystal ball to see Gomie Clash King potentially losing that 2 versus 2. I think the only reason it started out on top was frankly misplaying from Anime Avengers, and now Gomie Clash Gang, you can see the ship has been righted here, the course has been corrected, and the Anime Avengers, they are the ones in the driving seat top lane now, off of all that skirmishing. Bot lane as well, Dragon did go over, although Saishiki and Yo Mama Bin Laden starting to sort of regain some control in this lane. You can see pressure, but the CS difference is massive here, 35 CS to 64.
Regaining a little bit of pressure off of the push, but I think this is the point in the lane where Totodile and Ice really need to start getting something done in this lane if they're ever going to. Well, they are still so far ahead. Their BFs are up to Vamp Scepter. This is a massive amount of AD Totodile has. This could even be a kill off of just this one if the combo comes through from the trap. Trap not going to quite land on that one. Trying to get the kill. He still is going to force the flash away. This is a very, very strong Caitlyn in the top lane. Kobach's going to get jumped on as well. Has to get away under the tower very low. There's the Umbral Trespass into Sora by Kindred's only, but it's stun up by the Volibear. We mentioned that skirmishing is in his favor. Broken Stoner says, my buff was gone. I'm taking him back off of this one kill. Going to get the smite down onto Kobach as well. And he's flipping the script in the top lane. It's a double kill for Broken Stoner.
I gotta say, I'm not gonna lie, Gomie Clash Game, this does not look like a team that has on their comfort picks. I gotta be honest, I'm not sure about Kindred's only. I don't know about his familiarity with Kayn, but Kobach definitely not playing the Mordekaiser as well as I would have expected. But credit to Anime Avengers for punishing the lack of summoner spells, the lack of pressure coming out of this top lane. Kobach being forced to flash time and time again. And Anime Avengers is running the entire map with mid lane being the one exception. Mid lane still relatively even as Comfy Dog finds a little bit of a positive trade for himself. Still though, Anime Avengers definitely in the driver's seat here. You gotta wonder, Gomie Clash King, how are they gonna claw this one back? And I think the answer, you alluded to before, I think it lies in ultimates, in the bot lane ultimate, level 6 for Saishiki, the shockwave for Comfy Dog, which was just used in that skirmish. Also the death realm for Kobach, who is maybe a little bit too far behind to find any kills with it, but right now can look to at least take somebody out of the fight. Right now towards the bot side of the map, Totodile might be too far forward, Kindred's only looking to engage.
Seeing the gank, here is a net coming out. Totodile does not have his flash, just wasted that one. A little bit of an unfortunate play, went for the flash headshot net situation under the turret to try to get the kill onto Zilean. Did not work out for him, missed the net, unfortunately after that flash, so not quite what he was hoping for, and then missed a trap on the W as well. So maybe a little bit of nerves coming through for Totodile in the bot lane, but he does get himself out, doesn't go down to that gank. No flash, unfortunately for him. Still we're seeing the gank in the mid lane as well. Broken Stoner now just running at Comfy Dog. Decides not to go for anything else. Just a little bit of a fear factor in the mid lane as Kindred's only going to watch his opposite number here.
I think he's just trying to get dust. I was gonna say for a second, I was like, are you sure you want that one, Cameron's only? But probably pretty close to his Rost after all that dust that he got collected in the top side of the map early on. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Even if Gomie Clash Gang ended up coming out of the losing side of those skirmishes, if they can sort of manage do some damage control now and not lose everything, they did gain an earlier transformation out of Kindred's only. He's probably going to have Rost pretty soon, although Package picked up for Unstoppable. He's looking for a kill on a Comfy.
As to Valkyrie away, a nice Valkyrie out of the shockwave, actually escaping that gank. Kindred's only not able to get anything done there. And a nice play by Unstoppable, win for the kill, and then had to get out of that situation quickly. Once Kane showed up, had the second Valkyrie, is of course up once you use the package. So double Valkyrie essentially used to escape that situation. Kindred's only just kind of a spectator on this one, doesn't really want the blue dust anyway, so just holding the lane for his laner.
Well, I want to point out right now, Herald dropped top side of the map, Dragon spawning soon as well, with Broken Stoner heading towards that Dragon. He is forcing Gomie Clash Gang to make a decision. He says you can defend your top lane turret, which is going to die if that Herald crashes, and that is exactly what's going to happen. Or you can contest this Dragon. But right now, Gomie Clash Gang, not only did they lose top lane turret, their bot lane is stuck under turret as well. There might be dove by Broken Stoner. They are poised to lose both top and Dragon.
W going down. Another failed trap in the bot lane. Not working out for Totodile. We're going to see a fight in the top lane as well. Kovac going very low. Nice pull out of the Haymaker. Able to dodge that damage, but he's so low. And the Herald's up there too. What a great usage of that Herald in the top lane. Knowing there were only 2 plates left. Knowing that it would go down. 2 charges for the Herald. Kovac going very low. He's going to be taken out. Sora's just on a killing spree. This top lane is barely even still a lane at this point. Ace in the hole comes down, blocked by Seishiki in the bot lane, and Jennifer Era as well. This Running Shadow comes across, a nice headshot from the net as well. 90 caliber on that one. Make no mistake of it, folks. The tower dive comes through as well. 2 pro in the bot lane for the Anime Avengers.
Anime Avengers so far just coming across as so much more coordinated. The macro movements across the map have been very impressive. Objective control impressive. Now top lane Kindred's only trying to find a 1-for-1 to get Gomie back in the game, but it's close.
Haymaker comes down, not going to quite land what Sora was hoping for. Another knockup. He is transformed into Rod, so a little bit too strong on this one. The shutdown comes over 600 gold into the pocket of Kind Words only, but they do lose the Dragon, and the bot lane kills Force Trouble.
I would say if there was a member of Gomie Clash Gang that had any hope of carrying from this point in the game, it's gotta be Kind Words only on this Kane. He is pretty strong. It's a relatively early transformation. You see the power of a Rost, especially versus a heavy bruiser tank line for Anime Avengers when they don't have all that crazy burst damage. But is it gonna be enough? Comfy Dog jumped on. The rest of Gomie is just dying.
Speaking of crazy burst damage, trying to execute such a thing onto Comfy Dog, but doesn't quite work out. Flash used by Broken Stoner matched by that of the Orianna. So flash for flash, ultimate for ultimate goes down, but this mid lane tower is now under fire. A lot of plates being claimed so far. That's the 11th plate that has been picked up this game by the Anime Avengers. They are rolling in the gold, Baymax.
They are they're chugging along right now. They are a train which is unstoppable, chugging, crushing everything in its tracks right now. I'm sorry, that analogy kind of fell apart, but you know what? I feel like that analogy fell apart about as much as Gomie are falling apart in this game. We're 13 minutes in. We're looking at a 6,000 gold lead for Anime Avengers. And again, Anime Avengers, in my mind, undoubtedly outscale. This is a team that does quite well as the game goes on, with many champions that typically you think of as needing item spikes to really come online. Things like Corki, things like even Caitlyn, or even Volibear or Set, right? These are all champions that are pretty item dependent typically, but right now, they're just rolling over the competition almost effortlessly. It feels like Gomie Clash Gang have just been one step behind on all these plays, one step behind on the map rotations, one step behind in lane, getting out microed over and over again. Totodile and Ice Suck doing a fantastic job in this bot lane. Yes, sure, they had red buff early on, but still, just wiping the floor down here. Look at the CS gap between these 80 carries and across the board as well. Top lane, Kovac trying to do damage control, but still finding himself behind. The only lane that's close to even is Comfy Dog, and he's still not at his first item quite yet. He is not going to be nearly strong enough to carry. I think for at least game number 1, Gomie Clash Gang, their hopes and dreams are they're all on Kind Words only. They're all on this roster.
Yeah, this Roz is pretty much their only salvation at this point. And you mentioned the items being, necessary for this Caitlyn and the other members. The Caitlyn is very item dependent. She just has her item. She already has that Infinity Edge completed, and that's really all that she needs for the first little portion of the game before she can get that Storm Razor and continue to do damage. But she's at the point right now where if she can land a trap on somebody, she will one-shot them, probably with the only exception of Kovac. so far. Kindred's only isn't really that tanky. He just heals a lot. So if he is on that trap, he could find himself going down. So this is a very, very strong Caitlyn at this point. We are going to see the showstopper come through from Sora in the jungle. Kindred's only goes into the ultimate. There's a great ultimate as well. Coming through a package in the back. What a great combo from Anime Avengers. They are just trying to wipe this fight. The resurrection comes through onto Kindred's only. Can he get himself away from this ace in the hole being channeled on him? He is going to survive this. Kovac has the kill onto the Corki as well, trying to make this fight a little bit closer. Kovac now running for the kills, and China Crystal Arrow is going to land, but not have a whole lot of an effect. Sora now running for the hills as well, pretty low, but this Ashe just does not do that much damage, has to get themselves out. In the end, though, only a 2-for-1 as Gomie fights back.
Oh my god, Seishiki's just so far behind. I think those auto attacks are actually healing Sora. It was ridiculous how little damage was being done there. And honestly, that fight didn't go as badly as it could have been for Gomie. A 2-for-1. I'm tempted to say you take those, but again, not only is it a 2-for-1, but more waves lost top lane for Anime Avengers thanks to that wave control, or more waves lost top lane from Gomie thanks to Anime Avengers wave control. Mid lane turret getting chipped lower and lower as well, about to go down. Seishiki trying to make something happen, but Totodile and Isaac, so much healing, so much sustain, so much tankiness between these two picks. It is so hard to step to a Senna Caitlyn when you are behind.
Absolutely. You know, we mentioned that maybe those bombs could come through very easily. We just saw the bombs land, and Isaac just didn't take any damage. So when you don't do any damage with your abilities, you essentially are not useful. And that's what the bot lane is finding for themselves. And so they just really can't stand in this lane. If they ever step on a trap, they're going to get one shot by this Caitlyn, especially if she crits on that headshot. Q coming through doing full damage as well. Isaac has a ton of damage with the poke. Q's through the creeps and the grass rocks as well. So just not an enviable position for Gomie. They're down almost 7,000 gold, actually exactly 7,000 gold. Only 16 minutes into the game. The third dragon is going over in favor of Anime Avengers. And this game has just fallen off the rails for Gomie.
Herald picked up by Anime Avengers as well means that that mid lane turret, if by some miracle Gomie Clash Gang can keep Anime Avengers from picking that sucker up without the investment of a Herald, well, guess what? There has been a Herald picked up, and that can be used to shove for that mid lane inner or even that top lane inner. Yo Mama taking so much poke damage, stepping too far forward, and Anime Avengers, they just cannot be touched right now.
That was expended by Totodile. He does not have anything left for safety just yet. There's the Umbral Trespass actually bringing him into the middle of the team. Shockwave not available. The AD carry going to get caught out. Totodile tries to get out with the 90 caliber net and the one kill. The flash from the tower by Seishiki, not able to get anything done. And what a great ultimate coming through from Set as well. A huge showstopper trying to end the dreams of Gomie, but they're not able to pick up any more kills from this one. It's Kovac now in the death round with him. A flash forward from Broken Star as well, trying to get onto Comfy Dog. Stop wants to buy a little bit more time, but it's just not going to be enough. The Shockwave is not available to dive into the tower as well. Kovac now trying to get away from the bear, but he's just going to break off target and move on to Yo Mama Ben Lagan. Corki taking over the duties in the mid lane, but a nice shield from Mordekaiser has been popped. Broken Center picks the kill on the side of that one. Dawning Shadow almost takes down Kovac from the center, but not going to be enough. And another great fight for Anime Avengers. It looked okay for Gomie for a while, and then it just
I was gonna say, I thought I might have caster cursed it for a second. Just as I finished saying how untouchables Anime Avengers are, Gomie Clash Gang, it looks like they have almost a good engage onto Totodile, onto Isaac, onto Unstoppable. These key carries on Anime Avengers who were all almost dead, but now it's just Anime Avengers all day long, every day, as Broken Stoner and Sora showed up for the re-engage. This mid lane inhibitor is about to go down with a little bit of help from Shelly, and Anime Avengers, they turn everything on its head. It almost looked good for Gomie Clash Gang, but almost is not quite gonna cut it. I like the proactivity though, seeing Unstoppable, seeing Totodile and Isaac a little bit too far forward and trying to punish them for it. It is the kind of proactivity that just might be able to get Gomie Clash Gang back into this game, but that's a big if. 11,000 gold difference at this point, and guess what? Sora is dead again, I think.
Think again, Baymax. Gets himself out with a nice showstopper and a blast plant, and he's going to be just fine. But I am very surprised this inhibitor did not fall in the mid lane. It would have taken just a couple of auto attacks from Unstoppable, would have gone down. I don't think they would have been in any jeopardy of dying in the escape there. Maybe just a bit of an oversight by Anime Avengers, but there will be no super minions in the mid lane for the time being, and that could actually matter, you know, around a Baron play. Won't have that coming down. We're going to hold that thought for a moment here. Broken Center getting jumped in the bot lane. A nice Enchanted Crystal Arrow as well. That's a 3-second stun onto him. Kindred's only trying to fight back. Broken Center now wandering around. Umbral Trespass has been used. Kindred's only healing so much. The W comes down as well. You just cannot fight the Ross at this point. Comfy Dog has arrived as well. This is a 4-man play in the bot lane. Broken Center has nowhere to go. Righteous Glory's been used. Teleport being expended in the bot lane. They're going to try to fight this one out, maybe. Double bomb goes down. Sora going to get stunned up. Shutdown goes over in favor of Seishiki as well. That's 750 gold. Totodile has arrived in the bot lane as well, and a huge commitment here by Anime Avengers just to try to keep their jungler alive.
Yeah, teleport from Sora, but Anime Avengers are going to be rewarded by holding their bot lane turret. Still, though, a lot of shutdown gold going over to Seishiki, right? We talked about this AD carry, but, you know, we talked about Conrad's only being the carry through the mid game here, but if Seishiki can get those last couple items, can finish I don't even know what he'd go for, a Hurricane, maybe an Infinity Edge, start getting some items stacking on this Ashe, yeah, then maybe the Ashe can start doing some damage, right? Blade of the Ruin King, really helpful for shredding and tanking front line. Ruin's Hurricane, very helpful as well, but the problem is making it that long, right? Gomie Clash Gang, I'm starting to see some life out of some of these fights, out of some of these carries, but again, there's still a 10,000 gold lead separating these teams, and guess what? Anime Avengers has had total control of the map, meaning that they have all the dragons. It is an Ocean Soul, and with a Bruiser frontline threatening an Ocean Soul in 56 seconds, are the slight leads we're seeing from Gomie Clash Gang gonna be enough? Because I doubt it, especially if Anime Avengers can get their hands on this Baron, which they have started up, and it looks like they're basically gonna get for free, save some miracle steal from Kindred's Only.
Edwards only is here, not going to be able to get in. That does go over in favor of the Anime Avengers. They can just rotate down toward the Dragon. Little surprised they went for that Baron play, but it ended up being completely free. They had vision control, so it does work out for them. Speaking of Runaan's Hurricane, also has been picked up by Totodile. I'm not sure why, but it has been picked up for this Caitlyn. Not at all the standard build. Storm Rays are by far the most popular choice. Second, Runaan's Hurricane hasn't been very popular on Caitlyn for some 3 years now. So that's a little bit unfortunate to see, but we'll see if it works out for him. Not even a lot of frontline to be hitting either, so I'm a little puzzled by this build, but we'll see how it works out as this Dragon spawning up in about 2 seconds.
Couple seconds to go, and Anime Avengers, they say it's showtime. We got all of the vision control. A little bit of a pesky, stubborn ward hanging out from Gomie, but they just cannot walk in.
They are going into the fight. Unstoppable MVP is in the death ground, but he's just not going to be fought. It's a great engagement by Roken Stoner as well. Anime Avengers just looking to roll this fight, and they are doing so. It's just Kovac and the Zilean left alive. Only Zilean. Can he get himself away? Doesn't even have the ultimate. He might be able to zoom himself to safety, but it doesn't make any difference in the long run. 4-0, and the Ocean Soul going over in favor of the Anime Avengers.
You gotta think this is going to be the end of the game. Anime Avengers in such a... Oh, there's the surrender vote. Okay, you know, I called it, I guess. Anime Avengers... an astounding performance, 17-5 in kills. They were in total control. It felt like they were one step ahead, honestly just the better team almost every step of the way in this game. And that's surprising for me to see, because if you think back to the regular season, guess what, guys? Gomie Clash Gang, they were first seed. They were first seed for a reason. They were undefeated in the regular season. They played Anime Avengers. They had a pretty convincing 2-1, where I would argue the one game that Gomie actually lost, they were maybe not trolling, but they were definitely theory crafting a little bit, trying some unconventional, unorthodox strategies. So to see Gomie Clash Gang pick some picks that are comfort for them, and to fall apart in such a strong way, Anime Avengers, I did not expect this at all, but I am definitely impressed with what I saw from them.
Yeah, for sure. This is not what I was expecting either. I think this game really was won when that red buff went over to Totodile, and the fight in the top lane was won by the Anime Avengers. I think if that fight in the top lane goes disastrously wrong for them, Kindred's only picks up 3 kills, and that's kind of just the end of it. I think this game looks a lot differently, but because Sora was able to pick up those kills and such a large bot lane advantage was found, due to that red buff going over, there's essentially no downside for this, and the Anime Avengers were able to just snowball this game forward, get ahead of the curve over Gomie, and so Gomie was never really able to fight back. Their bot lane was useless, and you know, a pick comp doesn't work very well if your pick doesn't do any damage, because then you can't kill anyone, right? And so they weren't ever able to actually pick up any kills, even when the skill shots were landing, and so they just kind of fell apart and lost the game. We are going to head to a very brief break here between games. So we are 1-0 in the series. Of course, this is a best of 5, so stick around with us. 1-0, we will see some draft adaptations, I feel sure, before game number 2. Don't touch that browser. Style Esports returns with game number 2 in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody, to game number 2 here between Gomie Clash Gang and the Anime Avengers in the Freljord Group Grand Finals. Best of 5. It's 1-0 in favor of Anime Avengers as things stand. So Gomie Clash Gang looking to get a bit of revenge from that game number 1. We're into the draft for the second game, breaking it down with myself. Jarl Carl is my colorcaster for the night, Baymax.
Absolutely, Carl. And guess what? Already the Senna is taken away. So that one is gone from the books here. I suck and Totodile not going to get their hands on at least the Senna part of their bot lane. We'll see what else ends up getting taken away. I have a suspicion that we might not be seeing a Volibear make it through draft, but I've been wrong before on that one.
He has been picked. So I'm going to say he's
Oh,
getting through draft.
I think my pro draft might be bugged out. Hold on,
Might be a
I'll
little
try
behind.
to.
We will work on that for Baymax
Okay.
here. But Santa Caitlyn banned out by Gomie Clash Gang. And Volibear Ezreal picked up
All right.
for Anime Avengers now. And everything seems to be breaking on Pro Draft. It appears I'm still good to go. So we got
I reloaded it. I'm good. I hit
reloads
refresh.
have come through. Everybody's back. Excellent. We got Set, we got Volibear, we got Ezreal, just waiting on some more picks by Gomie Clash Gang. It's the Aphelios been locked in. Post-nerf Aphelios, that is. So a little bit weaker than he was last patch. I'm not a huge fan of Aphelios still, but in competitive play, he is definitely a little bit better than he is in solo queue.
And Gomie taking the set away this time as well. They say, all right, you can get one set, but we're not going to let you get two. You mentioned that Volibear is basically a set. I would agree with that. And I think you got two options. You can either ban the set or you can match it set for set. And guess what? Gomie Clash Gangs, they are matching set for set this time around, which I did say I wanted to see last time around, so I'm glad to see them adopt the set pick, probably in the top lane for this time. But you know what? It does mean that, like you said, the Volibear is still open, and also Ezreal Yuumi. If Anime Avengers want the Yuumi, they opt to go with a Janna instead, which is a little bit unorthodox, but I think a pretty good pick, especially considering playing against a Thresh and a Set.
It's also not Janna. So we're being
Oh,
told that Janna is Lux. So that's going to be a Ezreal
I
Lux
don't
coming
like that as
soon.
much. I'm not gonna
I
lie.
don't
I'm
either. I was about
not
to
as
sing the
big of a
Janna's
fan.
praises. Yeah, I was just about to sing the Janna's praises as well. I think it's a great lane with Ezreal. Give him some AD for the poke with the shield, a tornado to interrupt Thresh. It's a really great matchup against Thresh as long as he doesn't, just flash into you and kill you instantly. But, provided that doesn't happen, should be great. I don't like the Lux as much at all. If you miss that light binding on the Q, you're kind of just at the mercy of Thresh's hook. And I guess the same could be said for Janna's Tornado, but I think the Tornado is just a lot easier to land reactively than is the Lux Binding. Can really give a lot more disengage than just a second
Bigger
or so.
hitbox.
Yeah.
Also, Janna's just kit in general is more forgiving. She's got more shields and heals. Like her ultimate is a thing that exists, and
Yeah.
just also plays a better supportive role. Does a better job of buffing up that Ezreal and enabling him later game, which I think is really should be the goal of most supports in an Ezreal lane, in my humble opinion. But it looks like it is going to be a Volibear jungle yet again from Anime Avengers as they lock in the Mordekaiser, taking it away from Gomie Clash Gang, just in case they had any funny ideas about picking a set jungle and a Mordekaiser top. Anime Avengers say, nuh-uh, we are not going to let that one happen. Kobatch, you are not going to be allowed to play your comfort pick.
Other than the Lux, so far I'm a big fan of the team comp from Anime Avengers. I think the Volibear is quite strong in the jungle, as we discussed. I think Ezreal is probably the strongest AD carry right now, especially in competitive. I think Mordekaiser is a super solid top laner. I think this Lux is questionable. Honestly, I might even like to see this be a Lux mid and a different support. I don't know if Lux mid's even really a thing anybody's playing anymore. Against Ziggs doesn't sound that bad, just a bunch of high range mages. In the mid lane, we'll see what Anime Avengers decides to go for with that lane assignment. But so far, I like the comp for them. I'm a little bit questioned by the GCG comp. Right now, Ziggs not super in the meta. Aphelios just got nerfed. A lot of physical damage coming through, especially if the Ziggs doesn't get behind. They could have some problems with damage type, just because Lee Sin's AD as well. So that's something to watch out for as Anime Avengers go with the Kale. I'm not entirely sure that's actually Kale. And we're getting some chat. Yeah, Kale is Ari. So Anime Avengers is really just trying to fool us here, and it's going to be Lux support Ari mid is what I would assume coming through for them. So Anime Avengers, they got the Ari, pretty good standard all-around champion. Probably has kill pressure on Ziggs. If she can land the charm post 6, Spirit Rush right in, probably just one-shot him. So something to watch out for in the mid lane as well.
I do want to point out that last time these teams met each other, Comfy Dog got Ziggs one time and only one time, and the other two times, the anime Avengers went ahead and banned that away from him. So Comfy Dog's Ziggs is a little bit infamous, has a lot of fame on the Rift. It's something anime Avengers are a little bit afraid of. So we'll see if he can live up to the hype on that one. I for one am definitely excited to see picks that are often I think of as being more unorthodox, like the Ziggs, or even more so like the Kale. I think I'm not sure where that Kale is going. I'm guessing it's
not
a
Kale there, Max.
Right.
not Kale. Oh, never mind.
It's Ari. Yeah, that's an Ari.
Ari. Oh, you said that. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm off my little world. I'm looking at the last games. I'm looking at the Ziggs. I'm like, ooh, the Ziggs got picked. Okay, Ari. What do you think about the Ari?
I think it's a solid pick. In the mid lane, I think it doesn't jump out to me as like a genius pick up against Ziggs. I think it has kill pressure, likely if she can get level 6, Spirit Rush, Charm, the full combo, especially with the Volibear diving in. It's a lot of dive for this mid lane tower, so I think they could look for that up against Ziggs. I think something like an Azir or a Corki might have been a little bit stronger here, just to have a little bit more late game, like assurance in the team fight DPS, which seems to be kind of the style they're going for. They have Ezreal for the backline. I think like an Ezreal Azir could have been really strong, but I don't have a real strong opinion either way on the Ari so far. I like it more than I would have liked the Gale coming through, but I like it less than I would have liked the Janna. So 1 for 2 on the pick switches for me. If I hope anybody out there followed any of that.
I followed. I got you. I understood. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Don't worry about that one. You know, if nothing else, Gomie Clash Gang are definitely switching things up a bit. Last time they ended up going with picks that were probably not as aggressive early, right? They had the Mordekaiser top lane, which is not very strong. They came to the jungle, which is not very strong. Orianna is fine, but she's not really likely to be picking up any solo kills or doing anything crazy by herself until maybe level 6, and that ended up not materializing because of how far behind the top half of the map got just so early on. So right now, Gomie Clash Gang, we're going to get a lot more proactive, right? Lee Sin, jungle, set, top. Ziggs, mid is going to have pressure and enable, hopefully, to Lee Sin and set to move around the map and do whatever they need to do to get ahead and get a lead. I think being that the roles sort of reversed top lane, my guess is that Kind Words Only is going to be looking to do a Broken Stoner did and get that top lane ahead if he can. But conversely, bot lane is not a bad answer as well. Like you said, that Lux, Totodile on Lux, definitely not a very safe champion. Yo Mama been lagging, hits him with a flash flay, dodges out of that light binding, and Totodile is probably just dead. Even with flash, you're probably dead because you're gonna get flayed no matter what. You can flash away from the flay, but you're probably still gonna get hooked unless I suck tanks the hook for you, which I mean you could do. You could try to buffer it and do that, but is the coordination going to be there? That's a fairly advanced thing to do. It can be hard to pull off. A little bit of a skill check going on there. We'll see what ends up happening. But Gomie Clash Gang, they have definitely got playmaking options in the early game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this Lee Sin just so much more proactive early game than Kane was, like we were just discussing. Briefly banned out in this game, of course, but I think Heinrich's only will look to continue playing aggro. He played really aggro last game on the Kane, which is not a great early game champion, right? So I think he'll really be trying to snowball these lanes. I think, like you were just saying, either lane but mid. Ziggs does not have a lot of great gank setup. I mean, sure, if you get the satchel behind the Ahri, but that's pretty hard to do. So I would expect the ganks to be, I would say top side. I think they'll be focusing on the top lane. I think Ezreal's really hard to kill, and just killing the support and not the AD carry is not super worth it. For a jungler, the AD carry still gets to farm. Like, sure, you might be able to set up a freeze, but generally, just killing the support's not crazily worth it, especially this nerf to Freljord. I think you really want to get the set ahead in this game. If you can have set Lee Sin be really strong, they can roam around, make a lot of plays, have the side lane advantage over this Mordekaiser. So I would expect Kindred's only to focus more on the top side, and more of an equal strength jungler to Volibear in this game. So I think we'll see that matchup be a little bit closer in these fights.
Lee Sin's got a lot of skirmishing power. It's definitely true. Volibear does as well, like you said. So I am definitely curious how this mid lane goes. I want to see Comfy Dog take cleanse on the Ziggs. I think that is what could make the Ziggs go from a potentially risky pick where you eat one charm and you're dead to a pick that has a lot more safety, a lot more potential to get aggressive, a lot more potential to look to shove in waves, which I think you mentioned the Ziggs not sitting up for the ganks well. That's true. In my view, he doesn't need to. He is sort of a rock in the mid lane that can farm from a safe distance and get pressure with ease. Throw a couple of those bouncing bombs at the wave and instantly shove in Unstoppable, who's going to be sort of struggling to match the mana efficiency with which Comfy Dog can shove in those lanes and sort of get control over that mid lane so that Kind Words only and Kovacs can go ahead and roam around the map and look to pick fights over Herald and over Dragon, over the bot lane, and maybe they'll have a super mega infernal death bomb or whatever it's called to back them up when they go for those dives, because then it's just pressure that the Ziggs offers. And can't forget about that satchel charge blowing up those early game turrets from 25% HP. That's pretty ridiculous as well.
Was just going to mention that satchel charge, actually, BMX. Basically, the Herald plus the satchel charge will pretty much take out any turret early game, provided there's been a little bit of chip damage done to it, prior to the Herald showing up. So that's also a great combo. I think that satchel charge is probably Ziggs' the only reason that Ziggs is still in the meta, even at all. Kind of on the fringe. I think he works very well as a pocket pick trying to take down towers. So I think the mid lane tower could be under fire if the Herald goes over and they decide to go for that play, although I still don't expect a lot of mid lane focus. I think Comfy Dog will just kind of be pushing into the turret, trying to chip it down a little bit. Unstoppable MVP should have some mana issues, like you were saying, until that orb of deception kind of just clears out the whole wave, which doesn't happen immediately. So Comfy Dog has a pretty safe lane, I would think. I like the cleanse idea a lot, but Broken Stoner probably can just dive this turret with Unstoppable. Even with cleanse, I think that dive is pretty hard for Ziggs to outplay. We'll see how it shapes up, but I think the mid lane could be pretty volatile, although I think most of the action will be in the side lanes.
I would definitely agree with that. And after that breakdown, we are going to go to a short delay while the spectator countdown winds down. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with game number 2 between Anime Avengers and Gomie Clash Gang in just a few minutes.
Welcome to the Rift, everybody, for game number 2 here between Gomie Clash Gang and the Anime Avengers in the Freljord Group Grand Finals. Best of 5. It's Anime Avengers 1. It's Gomie Clash Gang 0. We're into game number 2, brought to you by myself, Jarl Carl, and Baymax, my color caster. How's it going, sir?
I'm doing great. And let's set the stakes a little bit here. Remember, this is the finals in Freljord. These teams are competing to try to go for that promotion match and maybe, just maybe, move on up a little bit in the world and make it on to Piltover, right? And Anime Avengers, they had a very convincing first win here versus Gomie Clash Game, which is not what I expected at all. We were talking about it before, but obviously, Gomie Clash Gang, they were the first seed. The last time these teams met up with each other, in my view, Gomie Clash Gang, sure, it was 2-1, but they looked significantly better, I would say. The last game that we watched just a few seconds ago, where Anime Avengers frankly rolled Gomie, they looked like a different team. They looked at least 1 to 2 steps ahead of Gomie Clash Gang basically every second of the game. And if they can keep that same level of intensity, if they can keep that focus, then Anime Avengers, they are definitely looking very, very good moving into these next couple games here.
Absolutely, and it's been a month since these teams played, right? And it was 2-1. There was some, experimenting perhaps going on by Gomie in that series, but a month is a long time for a League of Legends team, and I think it's definitely possible, right, that Anime Avengers have kind of stepped up their play since then. This is the only series they lost in the regular season was to Gomie. They beat everybody else in their group, so they're definitely a very strong team, despite their loss in that previous series. So I think we could be in for a close series today. I think this game will also show just kind of if Anime Avengers, if it was a one-off, or if they really are for real and can stand with Gomie throughout this game. So we'll see how that comes out. We also should note there was a role swap in the bot lane. Totodile is now playing support, and Icesuck is now playing AD carry. So they have switched in the bot lane, just something to note. Programming note, also both AD carries have teleport, so some interesting adaptations going on in the bot lane.
Well, we talked about it already, but I am not a fan, I know you aren't either, of some of the team compositional issues Anime Avengers have going on. The Lux support, not a fan. Ari mid, maybe not that bad, but I think there could have potentially been better picks. The Mordekaiser top as well, I think we'll see. I'm cautiously optimistic because we just saw Kobach on the Mordekaiser get absolutely railed last game, but there was a little bit of jungle intervention. There was a little bit of an outside force entering into the equation there, and right now Sora is just sort of taking the trade to Kobach, saying, hey, this is how you play Mordekaiser. So, okay, Sora, I see you up there. I see you.
Yeah, last game, Sora also started 3-1 on the set, which I think had something to do with the dominance we saw in the top lane off of those early game ganks. So we'll see how the early game does transpire. Up in this top lane, see if those junglers do pay some visits. They are both on the top side. Top Scuttle probably going to be picked up now by Kindred's only once that spawns. He is just waiting for that. Broken Stone are going to meet him up there. Level 4 versus level 3 already. 6 camps cleared in a matter of minutes by Broken Stone, doing very well for himself. We might see some action in the top lane or just a fight over the Scuttle.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the better things that Jungle Volibear has going for it is a fast clear time, right? Being able to spam that Frenzied Maul just over and over again. I cancel hold that thought because Kymer's only looking for a little bit of a fight here, trying to bully Broken Stoner, push him around a little bit.
Just goes for a little bit of a trade. Broken Stoner going to be taken a little bit low there in the jungle. Unstoppable MVP walking a little bit forward. Trade onto Comfy Dog. There's a Sonic Blade. Gonna go wide. Unstoppable MVP gonna survive that situation in the middle. Flash over the wall from Broken Stoner as well. We're seeing a fight in the top lane as well. Fights across the map. Sora and Kobach going very low in the top lane. Nobody's gonna die. It doesn't look like Flash is not available for Sora. Is still up for Kobach, so we could see another re-engage in the top lane. More action in the mid lane. Kendrew's only Sonic Blade hits creep. Everything gonna fizzle out there. For now, Icesuck dodges away from the death sentence. Nice light binding going to land for Totodile, but taking a lot of damage back from that active on the pistol from Seishiki. Everybody survives, but a lot of fighting across the map.
Ooh, if Yo Mama Bin Laden had his hook available, that is probably a dead Totodile, or at least a flashless, healless Totodile, but the world may never know, because right now Seishiki and Yo Mama Bin Laden are actually on the losing end of a lot of these trades. Very low health bar on Seishiki, so for now, Totodile and Icesuck making us eat our words a little bit on this Lux pick. The light bindings have been landing, but we'll see if that changes, because I think as some levels get onto this Aphelios, and as Kind Words only starts to pay some more attention to the bot side of the map, the Lux becomes a more and more perilous pick. It's also a pretty AP reliant pick, right? It's one of those supports where if you don't pop off early, you're not going to have much gold. You might not have that much of an impact. Your damage is going to start to fall off if you can't snowball with it. But for Anime Avengers' sake, they are snowballing with it just a little bit, right? Got that pressure in the bot lane. It's enabling Broken Stoner to go ahead and start up this dragon with that bot lane pressure. So Anime Avengers, once again, sort of prioritizing objectives on this map and just taking first dragon away from Gomie Clash Gang very early on.
Gomie doing well in the CS department, at least in the bot lane. Not going to be behind in that regard at all.
Much better than last game.
Yeah, big wave under the turret got pushed in, so they're going to be just fine for themselves in terms of that. A little bit low on Seishiki, though. Does have the teleport, so maybe wasn't anticipating this. Can teleport back to lane. Will have a BF sword if he wants it when he goes back. So I would expect him to just take the recall. Yeah, there he's going to go for it right now, I would expect. Actually just going to ward over the wall. I was really hoping to see the teleport come through for him, but that should be coming out relatively short. Maybe he wants to secure the cannon, but he'll be able to get BF sword, get back into lane, and then he should have enough damage that they can win a fight if there is a hook that lands onto Totodile, onto Isaac in the bot lane. They should be able to actually win that fight then once he has the BF sword. So his poke isn't really going to stick. He has the teleport, although Unstoppable MVP is roaming down. We might see a fight in the bot lane.
Yeah, he's got the level 6. I gotta feel like Yoma Ben Lagan should be blocking more of these Mystic shots. Some of them I feel like really shouldn't be being allowed to land. He had a full HP, full mana Thresh, and an 80 carry with no HP. What's wrong with this picture? Someone is trolling a little bit. Speaking of trolling, top lane, Sora taken very low.
Into the death drum, so Showstopper has been used. Haymaker, big shields across the board for this one. Sora going very low, doesn't have the mace quite available. There's the slam, but it's first blood to Kovac. In the top lane, healing up to 40% as well. Bit of lightning is not going to ruin his day. Takes a little bit of damage, but he does escape first blood for the save.
Not only does Kovac find the solo kill, he knows Mordekaiser's limits so well, but he not only does he find the solo kill, he wastes Broken Stoner's time and reveals him on the map, giving Kind Words only a chance to get a little bit deeper into Anime Avengers jungle, get some vision control, take this blue buff away potentially as well. I like the aggression here, using that information to take away Broken Stoner's buffs in jungle here.
Quite unfortunate for Sora in the top lane as well. Did have quite a nice CS lead, going into that play, and just found themselves on the losing end of it. So not at all what they were hoping for. Cannon gets missed by Kovac. That's pretty unfortunate. We're going to see a fight in the middle.
A nice warthog.
MVP gonna get kicked. There is the insect kick. A nice orbit deception to try to get himself out. Does have one more spirit rush available, so this Ahri should be okay. Although maybe taking a bit of a greedy path. He's going to pay the price for that with his life. Teleport's being channeled as well. Broken Stoner trying to run this fight. Kindred's only running himself out to safety. Can he trade the kill? No, he can't. Broken Stoner. This Volibear is very strong at this point in the game. We mentioned a lot of skirmishing power for him. Isaac now trying to focus fire. Has to teleport into the mid lane. Aphelios walking up as well. Was not able to join. Did not have that teleport. But in the end, 1 for 1. A lot of people in the mid lane.
A 1 for 1, Comfy Dog dropping low as well. Isaac been doing a really good job of landing a lot of these Mystic shots, but I think that's going to be it for the skirmishing. People are starting to return to their lanes a little bit. Both top laners investing teleports, so next time a dragon is up, both bot laners as well actually. Saishiki a little bit earlier to get to lane, but Isaac using it to get to that fight means that Anime Avengers actually ended up investing one more global tool than Gomie did, so arguably a win there for Gomie, especially considering the kill that went over to Anime Avengers went on Broken Stoner, on the tank, not necessarily who you wanted on, when you could have had it on a carry like Isaac, like Unstoppable, or Comfy Dog, for example, who picked up the kill for Gomie. So not a disaster for either team. Unstoppable, though, got no Spirit Rush. Gonna have to play safe for the next couple minutes of this game. Luckily for him, there won't be a dragon spawning for about 1 minute and 50 seconds. That Spirit Rush will be well and back off of cooldown, available and ready to be used. So for now, both teams just kind of chilling. I'm a little bit surprised to see Kind Words only not heading topside, but Saishiki looking for this kill.
Fight in the bot lane. Totodile thought it was going to be a free pick onto this Aphelios and was a little bit surprised. The flash light binding going to miss from Totodile. Flash for the tower as well. They're both going to escape with sub. Oh, there's the Comet coming through. Totodile picking up the kill on the support, but Lee Sin has arrived. Yo Mama been lagging very low on this Totodile. Can he dodge the sign of play? No, he can't. Walk back into it. There's the kill. Can he get himself out? There's the ward hop. Going to be enough, but there's no ultimate left for Kind Words. Only this could be Isaac trying to pick up a double kill here. He's going to pick up the kill onto this Ezreal. Does he have the shift forward? Does he have the confidence to go for it? Oh, he does. Why are you recalling onto the turret? Yo Mama been laying, going down, a little bit too much BM. Isaac picks up a double kill.
A good fight from Anime Avengers, but incredibly greedy from Gomie Clash Gang. It's not over yet, though. Unstoppable MVP looking for a solo kill mid lane. Gonna force the cleanse from Comfy Dog, but that is going to be it. Bot lane, though. So many turret plates falling. gold going over to Isaac. 2 kills and plates mean that Isaac is going to recall on 1800 gold. I think he can finish his Mana Moon if he wants to. And guess what, Carl? That entire time, Broken Stoner taking Herald top side of the map. Anime Avengers, they are back on this objective grind. Flash is traded mid lane, Unstoppable and Comfy Dog dropped pretty low. Both junglers hanging out. We might see another skirmish.
Center going in under kind words only. Unstoppable now just waiting in the wings. Maybe gonna try to throw a charm. Sonic Wave lands over the wall, but the charm missed as well. Unstoppable, can he get himself away from this actually? No flash. Kovac now running forward, but Unstoppable gonna escape this situation. There's the ultimate coming through from Broken Center. He's gonna be falling. You have to feel at the end of this one. How does he escape from that? What happened, Baymax? Gomie, just don't close out the kill. What is going on?
That was a very close fight. I want to backtrack a little bit to the bot lane fight because I want to point out something that happened to Saishiki, but it's too late. Another late binding. Totodile just cannot miss, making us eat our words on this Lux pick. I do want to be a little bit critical of Gomie though. I'm seeing a lot of flashes burned after the fact, after the Lux binding hits and you are already dead, right? After the Mystic Shot hits and you are already dead. After the True Shot Barrage is on the way and you're already dead. After the Charm has already hit and you're already dead. So many late cooldowns, so much greed, and now face checking into a bush. Another life binding has landed straight onto Yo Mama.
Stoner has arrived. The one shot though onto Totodile coming through from Kindward's only, but a great kick, kicking the tank into the swishy, and that was a bear to the face of Lux. She's gonna find herself falling. A nice little pick back for Gomie, but I do agree with you overall. Gomie seemed like they're just kind of, I don't want to say trolling, but maybe a little bit too much BM. Mama been lagging, died under the turret while recalling, very aggressively in front of Isaac. Kindward's only, I think, wasn't in range maybe to follow up on that Sonic Wave against Unstoppable MVP. He was able to escape. Just a very sloppy game so far by Gomie.
I don't know why Yo Mama is so hard for me to say quickly, but it is. It's just a fact of life for me anyway. But you're right, Gomie Clash Gang. They're just struggling across the map right now. Mid lane arguably ahead, but CS is even, and that's the only place where there's really a lead. I shouldn't even say that. There were leads early. Gomie Clash King, they were doing fine. They were doing well topside. They were doing well mid lane, but the bot just feels like it's falling apart for me. Saishiki and Yo Mama been lagging, really just not quite stepping up, getting styled on, honestly, by Totodile and Isaac. And now next dragon has spawned on the map. Pressure in the area in favor of Anime Avengers. A little bit of a control ward in the pit. Vision is split right now. Neither team is totally dominant in that fashion, but you gotta feel that this fight, Totodile might be going down.
Going very low, trying to get themselves out. Is the life binding available in time? Sonic Wave gonna finish off the kill. Kindward's only fixed that one up, at Sora and Isaac are here. Now there's a flash from Kindward's only to get himself away, but Unstoppable MVP has arrived on the scene. Kindward's only going very low. He gets taken out straight away. Isaac picks up the kill. The Mega Inferno Bomb not going to do anything. It's a double kill now for this Ezreal. Isaac picking up the kill at the end of the Death Realm as well. And Anime Avengers just continuing to roll. Their support died, but Kindward's only killed himself for that one kill. This Dragon's up. Looks like Broken Stoner is going to go for the secure.
You mentioned it before in Champs Select. If Gomie Clash Gang burned too many resources to kill Totodile, to kill the support, that is totally worth it for Anime Avengers, as Comfy Dog ends up trying to contest that dragon fruitlessly over the wall. A little bit greedy, to be honest. That one was probably gone, right? Jungler dead, not in the area. Broken Stoner on the map. Number advantage in favor of Anime Avengers. 4 versus 3 with no jungler. You probably just want to give those objectives away, but Comfy Dog just can't quite let it go. Ends up paying the price, but Sora might be finding himself caught out here. Might pay the same price in just a second, but look at that damage.
Who is catching who? True Shot Barrage going to pick up the kill. Gets traded back. Kindward's only picks up the kill onto Isaac. Had to stand in place to channel that ultimate. Maybe not worth it for him. That is 700 gold now in the pocket of Kindward's only another fight. Kindward's trying to go back in for a little bit more on this fight. Gets away with the ward hop. Sashiki now trying to go for it. Unstoppable MVP has arrived, though. Sora might kill himself in the exchange. Yes, they do, but the trade does come through from Unstoppable MVP. The dive on the tower. Sashiki going very low. He is taken out straight away under the tower, but Kovac has arrived as well, trying to pick up the trade kill onto Broken Stoner, the ultimate under the tower. That is going to stop Broken Stoner's show on this one, and a lot of fighting, a lot of teleports as well, but it looks like a 2 for 2 at the end of the day.
Am I crazy? I thought that was a 3 for 3. Maybe it was a 2 for 2. No, it was a 3 for 3 because Isaac was dead at the start of that fight.
True.
3 for 2. Comfy Dog was dead too, right? It was a 3 for 3, I think. Yeah. I think it was a 3 for 3. Sure. I'm gonna go with that. That was what my gut said at the end of that fight. I was like, I'm pretty sure that was 3 for 3. Regardless, even trade across the map, I think that favors Anime Avengers, right? They're the team, or that favors Gomie, actually. They're the team that was behind, but has a lot of these scaling elements we were talking about last game. The Aphelios is the main one for me, I think. Saishiki not quite picking up a kill yet for himself, but does find a little bit of gold from those assists from some turret platings, is up to his Infinity Edge finish now, which is a pretty significant power spec. Mid lane as well, Comfy Dog sitting relatively strong, and Kindred's only poised to carry his team through the mid game. Top side and bot side though, fights are breaking out across the map.
Seishiki, what are you doing? You cannot fight this Mordekaiser. Sora just says thank you very much, pops the Death Realm, and Seishiki just goes down straight away. Major miscalculation by the AD carry for Gomie Clash King.
A major miscalculation, but that is certainly going to cost Gomie Clash Gang, right? 15 seconds on Seishiki. His teleport actually still available, so he can go ahead and use that if he wants to get to lane and potentially save turret, or I don't even know if he's going to have to, right? Sora not going to push turrets ridiculously fast on this Mordekaiser, but can definitely threaten a little bit of damage and can make Saishiki get stuck in that silent with him. Looking top lane, though. Kindred's only trying to get a little bit aggressive. Might find himself pretty deep in the jungle. Anime Avengers can look to kill him here.
Stoner has arrived. There's a flash over the wall. There's the kick straight away just to remove Broken Stoner from the situation. Sonic Wave not going to land onto Ice. Like Broken Stoner going in, but he is just going to get knocked back out of that one. And the bot lane, this tower just going down. Sora picking up the kill onto that one. One more auto there. It does go down in the end. Running after Seishiki. This AD carry just cannot deal with Sora at this point in the game. Death Realm not available, not even needed. But Sora going to be just fine in that bot lane. Proto Belt completed, doing a ton of damage against this 0-4 Aphelios.
And this is a Mordekaiser that has almost no armor, right? Ninja Tabby's picked up. That's it. Saishiki was sitting there whacking away at Sora, trying to do whatever he could to keep him from picking up that turret. Was not able to do it. Sora brute forcing that turret down. This is not a Fiora. This is not a Jax. This is not a champion that can easily find those picks. And now Sora's looking for more. Finds Kydbird's only on his Rapt or on his Krugs, but the Death's Grasp not quite going to land. So unfortunately not going to turn into a kill on that one. Still though, Sora is honestly putting out a little bit of a masterclass for Kovacs on how to play this Mordekaiser as top lane turret falls.
Saw Broken Center use that ultimate in the mid lane, wasn't able to get over the wall with it, just whiffed that onto Comfy Dog. Does not have that available now for this kill. Onto Kovac, who does use the flash in the mid lane. Unstoppable MVP gonna trade kills back with Comfy Dog. Both mid laners go down. Every summoner's been used by Comfy Dog, but trading under the tower.
What is happening right now, Carl? So much fighting every second. There's always something going on. Now teleport being used from Saishiki to this top lane. Anime Avengers may be backing off these turrets, but turning their eyes towards this Herald as Broken Stoner starts it up. And honestly, though, Sora is not there. Unstoppable is dead with no teleport, and Sora is teleporting bot lane right now. If Gomie Clash Gang snip out this Herald and realize the Anime Avengers are trying to take it, they can probably stop it, but it looks like there will be no such sniffing. There will be no such stopping. Gomie Clash Gang letting this Herald go down, opting instead to maybe get some vision control over the bot side of the map, over this next dragon that is spawning, and the second Herald of the game and the fourth one of the series going over to Anime Avengers as they continue their march on objectives here.
Ultimate in the ball, and Sora might have met their match. There's the Death Realm Showstopper as well, and a flash by Sora. Not sure what that was going to do. One more auto could be enough, but Kovac does pick up the kill. Unstoppable MVP gonna get kicked in the mid lane. Where's the charm? Does he have it available? Flash over the charm. What a great play by Kindred's only flash by Unstoppable MVP. I don't think he's gonna be able to get away. Uses the blast or the vision plant, but it's just not gonna be enough. Kindred's only a nice outplay on the Zari.
And 2 picks for Gomie Anime Avengers. I think you've got to give this dragon away. Surely you can't fight over this 5 versus 3 with a 4,000 gold deficit, but it looks like they're going to try. They are so strong. You know, I just mixed up my teams a little bit there. Gomie Clash Gang actually surprisingly finding 2 picks, but Anime Avengers still looking strong enough to fight them off of this dragon as Saishiki eats another life binding. Mystic Shot almost going to land. Isuck just dominating.
Nice hook gonna be dodged out as well. Yo Mama been lagging, trying to get a little bit of a play going here, but there's just no AD carry. You don't have your AD carry, and Sora's on the way. This fight is gonna be all Anime Avengers. They've picked up 1 kill, trying to find the second onto Comfy Dog. Broken Stoner going forward, doing so much damage. Can he pick up this kill? There's the Sunny and the Mega Inferno Bomb, but it's just not going to do a whole lot of damage. Nice double stun coming through from the Light Binding as well. Totodile has picked up 1 kill. Kovac trying to trade something back, but it just cannot get anything done. Kindred's only arrived on the scene, isn't gonna be able to do anything, and Totodile just making so much happen on this Lux. Dodged the Moonlight Vigil, started that play off with a nice find onto Seishiki.
I want to give credit to Isaac as well. These Mystic shots are just not missing. His Ezreal has looked very clean so far this game, although it does help, to your point, when the target is locked up by a light binding, so credit to Totodile on that one. But it definitely says something when Anime Avengers can lose 2 members to picks and still brute force a dragon fight 3 versus 5, because Gomie Clash Gang simply cannot walk into them. Their carries are too strong. And now 3rd dragon of the game, another Ocean Soul, by the way, going down in favor of Anime Avengers. 1 more dragon until that Ocean Soul. Death Sentence onto I Suck. He should be okay, though.
Has to get himself out of this. This is going to have to be the full disengage in this fight. We might see the full engage instead. Death Drum is used onto Kydward's only the sword and try to get this 1 versus 1 come through. Misses the Q, though, so he might not be able to pick up the kill. 1 more auto should pick up the kill. Yes, he does. Kydward's only has picked up the kill, though. We are just trading in the mid lane as Anime Avengers are going to have to maybe run for the hills, but Kovacs is going to go down at the end of that. What a great W and E from Isaac, picking up that 1 kill, and a 4 versus 5 goes in favor of Anime Avengers.
And I want to point out, so much of Gomie Clash Gang's damage is coming from Comfy Dog on this Ziggs with the Siege Mage mid lane with the Artillery Mage doing so much damage. No way, Broken Stoner, no way.
Broken Stoner just going straight under the tower, picks up the 1 kill onto Seishiki. The tower falls as well, was disabled. Mama been lagging, gonna go very low. The flash from Isaac, and then he just stands there, not able to pick up the kill. Goes almost down to the bottom as well. A little bit unfortunate on the flash situation from him. There's a Herald spawn up in the mid lane. They're looking to push this inhibitor tower.
They're definitely looking to take down this inhibitor turret, and Shelly is going to help out with that one. But Broken Stoner, he's all by himself with only a little bit of a light lady to help him out. And guess what? Gomie Clash Gang, they're on resets. They are respawning. Kydward's only looking to take the fight to Gomie.
Light binding went a little bit wide. The hook lands as well. Totodile gonna fall, and Anime Avengers give a few kills back. Jungler and support find themselves in the death chamber.
The Death Chamber is not a place you typically want to be, but when you're trading an inhibitor turret for, and another pick mid lane, as Unstoppable MVP just racks up another kill for the Brooks, gets another little bit of a tooth here from Kind Words Only. You know what? You take those. You take those if you're Anime Avengers. I want to point out also, right, this is an Ocean Soul we're talking about. Another Ocean Soul. Stacking Ocean Dragons for Anime Avengers when you are talking about a team in Gomie Clash Gang where so much of their damage is coming from Comfy Dog on this Ziggs, the Artillery Mage, right? What is an Artillery Range's worst nightmare? 4 Ocean Dragons, basically. It makes the other team impossible to kill, impossible to whittle down, impossible to pressure. Now, Anime Avengers, they are not going to get 4 Ocean Dragons, but they are more than likely to get 2, and 2 is pretty obnoxious to deal with as well, especially if you're behind. And on top of that, the Ocean Soul means that as soon as a fight does break out, all that poke damage from Comfy Dog is likely to become mitigated almost instantly. And now Sora, if we even get to that point, is saying we're not going to make it that far. Comfy Dog in the Death Chamber.
Comfy Dog gonna get just mitigated himself down here. Doesn't die in the death realm, but dies shortly after. Isaac picking up that kill onto the Ziggs. Bit of a dance in the mid lane by Sora of happiness you have to feel in the mid lane. 2, 4, and 7, but had a lot of impact in this game. Impact greater than your KDA. Of course, Isaac stepping pretty far forward. Light binding goes a little bit wide, but Isaac, there's the final spark. The E comes forward as well, and Seishiki just ripped off the map, eviscerated, you might say. And Isaac going to land on this AD carry. The Ezreal going very low. No stopwatch to keep himself alive. He gets shut down by the Lee Sin. Kindred only has picked up that shutdown. Double flash in the bot lane. Kindred's only trying to get away from this bear, but there's a flash over the wall. Flash bear slap, you might say, under this tower. That tower's been turned off. Anime Avengers looking for the fight, and it's right now they're looking for it. They're on the bot tower. It's down to half HP. The inhibitor in the mid going to fall as well. And Baymax, this might be the game-ending push.
I mean, it definitely could be, but there's still relatively short death timers on Seishiki and Yomama. We are looking at only 10 seconds on those guys. Mid lane inhibitor falling, bot lane inhibitor falling as well, but keep in mind, Isaac, the key carry for Anime Avengers, is still off the map, not here. If Anime Avengers look to end the game, they'll find themselves in a 4 versus 3 with not a lot of minions to end up funneling into that Nexus turret. So probably the much safer play is to go ahead and back off and just set up for this dragon. But Unstoppable is having none of it. Lance the Charm and a Comfy Dog almost finds a kill for himself.
I think just trying to maybe buy a little bit of time, force the dragon to be a little bit easier. But Totodile going to make the dragon a lot harder by getting caught out. He goes down. Sora's now in the death chamber, or in the death realm, I should say, with Kind Words Only. A nice kick. Dragon's Rage has been invested by him. There's a pullback and the Mace of Spades coming through. Traded the jungler for top laner. This could give them position on the dragon. And I actually tell a lie, Totodile somehow escaped. I'm not entirely sure how that happened, but he does get away. And honestly, jungler for no jungler, this could just be the soul going over for free.
Prismatic Barrier is a very strong ability. The second part of that Lux W coming back, giving Totodile the shield just in the nick of time. And like you said, top laner traded for jungler means that in a vacuum, might not be worth it. I would say Sora is maybe stronger than Kaidomura's only, maybe not, honestly. Kaidomura's only is probably the strongest member of Gomie Clash Gang. So not only does Sora suicide for the strongest member of Gomie Clash Gang, but also that strongest member happened to be a jungler when Dragon is spawning. And guess what? Now, you see what happens. Gomie Clash Gang, they can't even leave their base. Saishiki even thinks about stepping outside of the safety of those Nexus turrets and just gets hammered to death by I Suck and Totodile. Carl, I think this game is as good as over.
I think we have, one more fight, one more smashing fight for Anime Avengers, and they will pick up the W here. I think it's very hard to figure out how you can win a fight against the Ocean Dragon. There's no healing reduction even coming through for Gomie Clash Gang, so they're facing the full amount of this healing. There's no AD carry.
Oh, that light
nice
binding.
double light binding comes through. There's the showstopper to try to have a last-ditch effort, but Isaac is just so strong. Thresh is already taken out of this one. Unstoppable MVP healing up the backline. So is Totodile. Kovac going to escape from the situation, but one Nexus Tower has already fallen. They can just look towards the second Isaac, maybe going a little bit too far forward, but just heals up to full health almost immediately. There's the arcane shift forward. He might actually get kicked back. This could be not what he was looking for. Now the Doctor ordered for him a nice flash turn to get some out. Can the Ocean Soul be enough healing? Yes, it can. He goes up to half HP. Almost immediately, Kovac can't get anything done against him. There's the shift forward, playing so aggressively on his Ezra, and it's just working out for them. Anime Avengers just rolling over the map once again. They go 2-0 in this series over Gomie Clash Gang.
And Gomie Clash Gang, despite being the favorites coming into tonight, they have their backs against the wall in this finals. They might be about to fall at the hands of the Anime Avengers, who they fairly handily bested in season, 3 weeks, a month ago? Anime Avengers looking so good. So good.
Just a completely different team than we saw almost 3.5 weeks ago when these teams last played, and credit to them, right? They look like a really much better team than they did back then, right? It doesn't, I don't think it's as much that Gomie Clash Gang is just playing horribly. I think Anime Avengers is just coming out swinging. They have a game plan, they know what they want to do, and they're making it work, right? Sora got 1v1 in the top lane, a little bit unfortunate, but it just didn't, it was not enough to stop this train rolling through the bot lane, demolishing once again. The bot lane for Gomie Clash Gang looking very flat today, not able to, they were able to keep up in CS this game, but 1-8, 0-6, just not the scorelines they were hoping for going into this game, and it's just allowing the Anime Avengers to just propel through these games very, very quickly, because every lane's winning, right? And it's so much easier to end the game and stack the dragons when everybody's ahead.
I do want to point out, I think that in my mind, there is a fairly obvious biggest difference between these teams, and to me that feels like it's coming from the bot lane. Consistently in these first two games, Saishiki and Yo Mama Bin Laden have just been 2 steps behind Isuck and Totodile as far as having lane pressure, having priority, and that was more evident than ever in this game, but even in last game, that was certainly a factor in the outcome. And I want to see that maybe changed a little bit. I want to see the picks maybe change a little bit. In the past, Gomie Clash Gang have had success with these guys on picks that were a little bit more utility focused, right? Previously, we saw a lot of priority on getting Saishiki on the Ashe. That was something that Gomie Clash Gang put a lot of work into doing. Yo Mama Bin Laden is a Leona player. Leona was open this game. I maybe would have liked to have seen him gravitate towards that as well instead of the Thresh. I think Thresh was good here, but I was not convinced at all by the gameplay that I saw from these guys in the bot lane, right? So I think maybe if Gomie Clash Gang are looking to switch up the draft, that is potentially where they could start. Also, maybe I'm crazy, but it might be a good idea to take the Volibear away. Feels like so far, Broken Stoner having a ton of success on this champion. Very difficult to deal with, very difficult to play around early, especially if you are trying to get aggressive. That 2v2 with basically anybody is so strong, especially if there's someone there that can set up for the Volibear. So I just think you take the Volibear away, honestly. It's looked so hard to deal with, and I think the champion is actually really strong right now.
Banning the Volibear sounds like a capital idea to me at this point, Baymax. But we'll see what they do come up with for game number 3 of this best of 5, which is just around the corner. We're going to throw it to a very short break. We will be back in just a few minutes with game number 3 of this best of 5 between Gomie Clash Gang and Anime Avengers. Don't go away. We are back, Style Esports fans, for what would have been game number 3 of the Style Esports Season 3 Freljord Finals. Unfortunately, game number 3 was forfeited by the Gomie Clash gang, which does mean that Anime Avengers does win the series 3-0 by forfeit over Gomie Clash gang. They claim the prize pool for the Freljord group. They are the Freljord group champions for Season 3 here in Style Esports, and they advance to face the Shadow Mustangs Unleashed in the Piltover Freljord relegation and promotion match. So very sorry to everybody out there in the chat that was hoping for game number 3, maybe a bit of a reverse sweep. I saw some people talking about in the chat, but unfortunately there will be no game 3. But
Man,
instead
I
of game
was
number
calling
3,
for a reverse sweep. That was me.
it
That
was
was
it was
my.
just BMX.
Oh my
Anyway,
god.
we're making up for game number 3 by bringing you folks an interview. So we have brought Sora in from Anime Avengers, and yeah, welcome to the stream. Congratulations on the win. How's it going?
It's feeling pretty good, man, you know?
Yeah, it's gotta feel pretty good, right? Like, it sucks. It sucks how, in my mind, like, it's never ideal to have any series end this way, especially the finals. But hey, a 3-0 is a 3-0. You guys are up for promotion now. Could potentially end up moving on up in the world, going over to Piltover. Tell me a little bit about the journey that you guys had as a team, because I honestly feel like you guys, Anime Avengers, look like a totally different team over those past couple of games we just saw tonight versus, say, games that I watched from 3-4 weeks ago. Do you feel like the same transition happened? Do you want to talk about that a little bit, or give me some insight into the team?
Yeah, we were having problems earlier in the season because we were our fourth and our fifth ended up leaving our top and our support because they got IRL stuff like school and work. So then we brought a new mid laner in. I went to top lane. Then we were just using our subs as a support, and it was kind of rough for a bit. But once we got a set support of I suck 2 and 3, we just had synergy. Our bot lane started winning all the time, and the rest of us just don't in, and it usually works out pretty well.
So basically, the key to winning is just to have bot diff. That's
Just don't in usually works.
bot diff. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That too.
Okay. Just have bot diff and you'll win the game. Makes sense. I think that's what Night Blue's always complaining about on the stream is not having bot diff. So
Who's Night Blue?
never mind. Okay. Never mind. Never mind. Doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. I'm sorry that I mentioned him. So congratulations on the win. Thank you for giving it a little bit of insight. I want to talk to you about the matchups that got played tonight, because obviously Kobach, he is a Mordekaiser player. That's sort of his forte. So I want to tell me a little bit about the matchups tonight, because you not only picked the set into him and did quite well, albeit with a little bit of help early game. I picked the set into him, did quite well the first game. The second game, matchups were flipped, and you still had a very convincing game. So tell me about that.
Well, I actually just think that Mordekaiser beats set. It also depends on the build. I like to go set with like Black Cleaver into tank. Bomby Cinder first back gives a lot of burst damage early on. It's really hard to kill you. And since I got, ganks early and got pretty fed, it was just unwinnable for Mordekaiser. And then the next game he picked set, and I think Mordekaiser in the set's actually a pretty good matchup. Besides me itzing a first blood over, that was an accident. But I think it's just Mordekaiser
Happens to the
favorite.
best of us.
Yeah. If you just shield to the W, I think you win it pretty hard.
That was honestly, that was impressive from apparently I'm in a custom game here. That was pretty impressive from Kobach. I liked watching him do that. I thought that was a pretty good expression of his knowledge of the limits of Mordekaiser early on. But you're saying you think you just mechanically misplayed it. That's probably true. Either way, I don't know. I don't know if I have any more questions. I wanted to ask about the Mordekaiser. You got anything for him, Carl?
I want to talk about the upcoming matchup that you have with the Shadow Mustangs Unleashed. Have you thought about that, like promotion relegation match at all? Have you thought about that team at all? What are your thoughts about going forward with that last one match in the season?
I'm not gonna cap. I forgot that was a thing, dude. We just play,
Nice. I mean,
We're just
just
here to
playing.
play video games, man.
Yeah, I mean, just playing video games is definitely a good thing to do. So I wish you luck in that matchup when you find out a little bit more about it.
Yeah.
Do you have anything? Do you have anything you want to say to the fans out there? Your team shout outs. The floor is yours.
Yeah, Stan Luna.
That's what he's got for us, folks. So do
I'll
appreciate
take
that.
it.
Yeah, we'll take it. We appreciate the interview. Thank you so much for that, and congratulations again on the
Yep, no
win,
problem.
Sora. Yep, take care. Have a good one. We will catch you some other time, probably in that promotion relegation match once that team does figure out more about it. But that is going to do it for our somewhat rapidly abbreviated broadcast this evening, folks. We do apologize about that, but that is just how the cookie crumbled. So, end of the Freljord group does end this way. We will be back with the future games. The future finals, I should say. I'm just turning words into spaghetti right now, but we will be back tomorrow evening, which should be pretty exciting. We'll be with the Supernova versus Coin Flippers game that is kicking off at 9 p.m. Eastern with another best of 5. That's going to be with myself and Axeman87, who has been our gracious host tonight. So be sure to check out that game. It is Team Supernova versus Coin Flippers. That's the Shurima group. That's the highest elo bracket where the big money is being fought over. So be sure to check that one out. But that being said, we hope to see you tomorrow. On behalf of myself, my colorcaster Baymax, our gracious host Axeman87 once again, we thank you all so much for watching, and we hope to see you tomorrow night. Good night.